Welcome, and welcome back to Heretic Owl. I like saying heretic. Wait, okay, you know what? We're moving on. Oh, I'm gonna have to be using words for the next like 30 minutes or so this is gonna be fun. Sorry about that. What a beginning, huh? So anyway, we're continuing with our series on tarot messages by Human Design Profile. So if you're here, you're a 3-5 martyr, heretic, or heretic. Sorry about that. So you're a 3-5 profile or martyr heretic, or you're curious and maybe you don't know what your profile is. If you don't know your profile, there is a link in the description below. You would need the same information that you need for your natal chart. So birth date, time, and location. Human design is a bit more sensitive to the time because there are certain aspects of your chart that can change based on the time of day that you were born. So, I mean, you can certainly play around with it and just put in different times if you don't know your exact time, just to even see if it would change. Like for me, it doesn't matter what time I was born. On the day that I was born, I was going to be a manifesting generator 5-1 profile. But I have seen people who, within 2 hours, it changes either their type and or profile. So again, I mean, you might have an intuition about the time of day that you were born. You might have heard throughout your life that you were born during a specific time frame, like time of day. So you can just use a time that correlates. Of course, you can use noon. Just know that, there might be some things that change. And once you put in the information, you'll get something that looks like this. This is your body graph, unique to you. Of course, it's not going to have all the notes. But you'll see your type, your definition, strategy, profile, inner authority, not self-theme, and your incarnation cross. So for the purposes of these videos, we're going to be using your profile. But you will hear a lot of your strategy and authority within the realm of human design, because that's the thing that helps you enter into or not enter into experiences that are right or not right for you. So definitely something to also look into. I'm going off of profile for these readings because reading about my specific profile, honestly, like it was like the first time I felt like I had been seen and validated in my experience. So for that reason, I have a bit of an affinity for it. So we're just, the last 2 messages that we've done, I read the background and the personal, and then this time we're just going to finish up with this interpersonal. And then of course we'll get to the tarot message. So it says, martyr heretics are masters of the material plane. When things aren't working out, however, they will break the bond and walk away. Their projected attitude may best be expressed as never belong to an organization that would have you as a member. They are anarchists who must be willing to break the bond with anything that does not work in order to finally discover what does. There is enormous value for everyone to have a third line around who is consciously designed to discover what does not work. If parents, teachers, and others can refrain from calling the 3-5 pessimistic or negative, or telling them that they have made a mistake, they will save themselves considerable time and energy by making use of the 3-5's experiential wisdom. We need to offer a special kind of grace to a third line child. Parents and teachers must allow them to go through their process with positive reinforcement. What did you learn from it? Or don't see it as a mistake, just a process. If they do not, the psychological damage to a 3-5 child can be great. When martyr heretics can't live up to the expectations projected onto them, they will flee and burn their bridges behind them. If they can navigate the projection field, though, through strategy and authority, then the full potency of their truth, along with their ability to adapt, find a practical way. Sorry. Let me start that sentence over. If they can navigate the projection field, though, through strategy and authority, then the full potency of their truth, along with their ability to adapt, find a practical way, and still see the beauty and wonder of the material plane, will shine as a real gift for us all. The only thing they need to empower this role is positive reinforcement. So this says Willie Nelson is a 3-5, William Shatner, Kate Winslet, Diana Ross. Interesting. Very interesting. Does that sound like you? I'm a 3-5 on the side reel side. You can find your side reel chart on Genetic Matrix. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that unless, of course, like you've been diving into human design. It's just more information. But of course, if you're like the type of person that just loves being bombarded by information, then by all means, do that. But yeah, you know, like, again, just kind of recognizing that process of trial and error. But then also, you know, having that fifth line projection where, you know, I mean, people have their expectations of fifth lines, of, you know, providing a practical solution or just kind of coming in to save the day. And your saving the day is finding out and discovering all of the things that don't really work. And, you know, some people may see that as mistakes, or may see that, you know, it might just make them nervous because that's that projection field of the fifth line. And I think, you know, one of the gifts of a fifth line that I'm coming around to, because I have a conscious fifth line in my profile. But one of the gifts I feel like of having a fifth line is that there is this need to be so grounded in who you are. You know, that way, when other people start projecting, as they will, as they do, you'll recognize that, because you're like, that's actually not who I am. That's not my process. That wasn't my intention. You know, like, so it doesn't necessarily, you know, kind of affect you negatively. Like, you don't absorb it as being something that you all of a sudden believe, if that makes sense. And like it was saying in the book about how, you know, that there's so much beauty in that third line of, honestly, like really being able to navigate that trial and error process and want to actually do that. So that, you know, at some point you can step in and provide that practical solution. All right, so we're getting there. I'm just going to shuffle a few more times. We'll do a 6-card spread. We're looking for a message for our martyr heretics. Mm-mm. Every time a card falls out, I feel like I have to shuffle a few more times just to get it, incorporate it back in there. There we go. All right. Let's see. Oh, well, that's an awesome way to start. We have the Six of Wands, the Magician, Page of Pentacles, Justice card, the Lovers, and the Queen of Swords, and then the Seven of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Okay. So we'll just kind of work our way through this. This is beautiful. What a way to start the reading. So we start with the Six of Wands. Being recognized. This is the card of success, victory. You know, I mean, this figure is on the stage. There's all these kind of hands out there. So reaching this level of satisfaction, really kind of giving yourself a pat on the back, right? I mean, like this would be even showing up. And then we have the Justice card down here. And this, you know, kind of combo here, just, it feels like getting what you deserve. You know, like the Six of Wands comes after the Five of Wands, of course, right? Because 6 comes after 5. But the Five of Wands talks about conflict and competition. And I see it as being almost kind of like a conditioning or training card. And I always think of Mulan. Because, you know, in Mulan, when, hopefully you've seen Mulan, but, you know, they're in the training camp and they're all learning how to become warriors and stuff, right? Like that would be the Five of Wands. And then, you know, like you kind of, you're training for this battle and you go into it and you come out victorious. So, you know, I mean, like the Six of Wands would say that, you know, whatever you have been putting your time and energy, whatever you have been actually doing has been paying off, or it is going to be paying off. Did I just spit all over the place? Sorry. And, you know, the Justice card talks about fairness and the scales balancing. It could have something to do with a court case. It could have something to do with law enforcement. You know, I mean, that could be the literal interpretation, is that, you know, like you would be successful in winning your case, or you know, I mean, it could be marriage or divorce. Either way, but you know, the income, well, that's interesting. It could have something to do with income. I was going to actually say the outcome would have been in your favor. That's interesting that I would say income instead of outcome. Huh. I am going to write that down, because I do forget things all the time. So Very interesting. It could even be, whatever is incoming. This could be something that, is arriving at some point in the next few weeks, because we move on to the Magician here. And the Magician talks about, well, it's the card right after the Fool. So, the Fool card says that you take a leap of faith. You're just going for it, right? Both feet in. And then the Magician is where you're like, okay, so I'm taking this leap, committed to it, but what do I do now, right? Like, how do I make this a thing? And, the Magician is like, I keep messing with these cards. The Magician is going to pull in all of the resources that they have available, right? Like, you have skills, you have knowledge, you have experience. You've more than likely thought about the thing a lot, right? So I love how in this card, the figure has their hand on the ground, but also is, kind of working with all of these energies here. It's spending some time really kind of getting clear on what you even want the thing to be. And, again, with it being next to the Six of Wands, there is this level of success. Like, you have successfully created for some reason, I do not want to use the word manifest. Because I think it's more than that. Like, this is, kind of both. This is action and manifestation working together. So this is, kind of knowing what you want to do, like recognizing the resources that you have available to you. And the Six of Wands would be going for it, like putting the action in towards it, showing up, like I said, right? Putting yourself out there. And we have the Lovers card here. And the Lovers card can talk about literal lovers. This could have to do with a relationship. We have the Justice card here. So like I said, it could be marriage, divorce. It could be meeting somebody new. But the Lovers card also talks about choices and decisions. It also talks about, the feminine energy and the masculine energies. So, just kind of how they work in tandem. The feminine flow and intuition, receiving, the masculine initiation and giving, right? And kind of doing that physical labor part. And, it's just the energies. It's not a gender. It's nothing like that. I think this is Gemini. Justice is Libra. The Magician, I think, is Mercury, but I don't know if, I don't think it's specifically related to, well, it could be related to Gemini, actually. Gemini is ruled by Mercury. So that is interesting that there's two cards that are related to Gemini here. You could be a Gemini in the realm of astrology. You could know somebody. You could be a Libra. It doesn't have to be, just pointing them out. So it's interesting because this is the only card that there are two people on. Everything else is singular. So there could be somebody that's going to maybe help you decide on a direction. There could be somebody who might even help you get clear on what you want to do. Very interesting. I feel like I kind of keep getting pulled into this energy, and then I get like a little bit dizzy. And then we have the Page of Pentacles, which, you know, the Page of Pentacles is the apprentice. You know, it's when you are in training, or it could be starting school, or like taking continuing education classes. I don't know why it came out the way that it did. I mean, you could be deciding to take a course on something that you're interested in. But Pentacles do have to do with money, how we make it, how we spend it, how we invest it, how we save it. It has to do with our time. It has to do with our physical body. It's the physical 3D world. I mean, you could be, you know, starting a new journey as far as your health goes, like starting a new lifestyle. Like, you know, this figure is holding tree pose. Maybe you're getting into yoga. But, you know, there's this root coming out of this pentacle here. So, you know, it could even just be that you are searching for something that you can maybe even ground yourself in, or plant some roots in. And that would be maybe even based on this recognition, or, you know, this success. And you're like, okay, how can I almost kind of capitalize on this thing and turn it into, or even build it into something And actually, I just recognized that down here, this root went around her leg and it is in the ground. And I love that even more with her being the one that's holding tree pose and that foot is coming out. So again, like there's this message of being grounded. I say that again, but I don't know if I actually said that already. there could maybe even be a need to be grounded, you know, like if you're kind of riding on this wave of success here, which is amazing, right? But, you know, this person has their butt on the ground, right? Root right to the ground, like root chakra. This person, literal root, right? Like coming out of this pentacle, wrapping around and almost kind of grounding, you know, like, I don't want to say like trapping their foot. So clearly they could move their foot if they wanted to, but like supporting their foot almost on the ground. We have the 7 of Wands here, you know, again, like sitting cross-legged, cross-legged, same pose here, right? Grounded. The Queen of Swords, excuse me. They're also sitting down. I mean, this could even be somebody that, I might have already said this, and if I did, I apologize for repeating myself again, but this could be someone who is just helping you. It's like a stepping stone in a good way, right? I mean, because I'm just getting this kind of feeling of somebody like almost recognizing your power, like they're coming in and helping you see it too. I mean, clearly there's, you know, like this kind of passion between them too. But I just find it interesting that, like I said, like this is the only card where there are 2 people on it. And this row down here, you know, with the Justice card, and then the Lovers, and then, you know, the Queen of Swords being up here by herself. This really almost kind of feels like 2 different even things going on. Like, this is a wild ride. Like, if this makes sense to you, please comment below. But like, this seems like one thing. This seems like, you know, you're grinding, like you're hustling, right? Like this success, this recognition, you know, feeling good about something that you've kind of like co-created, right? Like you created this thing. You put in your time, your energy, brought your ideas to life, right? You did that. And it's given you this, like you're starting to maybe even just see a little bit of security from it. And then down here, we have this Justice card, which is like now, you know, it almost just kind of feels like living a double life. I mean, you know, and that's only because we have this figure here who seems to be content, eyes closed, a little bit of a smile, right? Feeling good, feeling great. And then we have this other figure that's a bit more dark, almost kind of has like this menacing quality to it. But this almost, it really just kind of feels like taking your power back. You could have even been doing a lot of self-healing work. And this would almost like, you know, because it looks like she's drawing the sword out from its sheath, I think is what it's called there, right? So there's this feeling of like empowerment and feeling steady. And this could even be how you're feeling about yourself, like really reconnecting, recognizing that you have both of these energies within you, recognizing that power, recognizing, you know, that you have a choice on how you feel about yourself and your environment and what you're doing. And then the Queen of Swords, you know, swords have to do with our thoughts and our intellect. I see them as being a card of ego because it's generally where we hear our egos, is in our mind. And, you know, when I say the queens, to me, it's, you know, when you embody the energy of the suit, like you understand the energy of the suit, so that, you know, like we have to recognize it within ourselves before we can kind of share that with other people. And that's where the king comes to play, right? But it's like understanding how you're even feeling about what you're doing. And also, I love how she's looking to the right, which is future. The right side of the card is a future. So, you know, there's this contemplation thing going on here. Like, how do I see my future? How do I want this Page of Pentacles to mature? So there's kind of this like strategy thing going on, like really getting clear on your thoughts on the thing. And also, you know, the Justice card and the Queen of Swords are very objective. Actually, all of these cards are air sign cards. Libra, Gemini, Libra. Oh, Libra, Gemini, Libra. Very interesting. Very interesting. So a lot of, you know, air, you know, kind of having to do with mental. We have fire and earth up here, action, physical plane. And then we have the Seven of Wands here, which talks about like having to defend something, like being on the defense. We have these 7 wands down here coming at her, and, you know, like she's kind of sitting in this posture of meditation. There's this bubble around her, not even paying attention, like not even giving them anything, right? Not even giving any energy away. And then we have the solar plexus right there, you know, where this energy is coming out from. In the realm of human design, the solar plexus is an emotional center. It talks about an emotional wave. and how there's no truth in the now. You don't want to make a decision from an emotional high. You don't want to make a decision from an emotional low. And with the wands being the action and communication cards, you don't want to communicate on a high. You don't want to communicate on a low. You don't want to act on a high. You don't want to act on a low. And that's the emotional wave, not, So, it's kind of like when you make a decision, stick to it. And then we have the star card after that, which is Aquarius, another air sign. But this talks about, basically holding on to hope. This is like trusting the process right here. And for that to come after the Seven of Wands, right? Like, whatever you're defending here, whatever you are just kind of like sticking your feet in the ground on, it's like trusting that, really trust the process. And then we have the Hermit, which talks about self-awareness, introspection. It might be a lonely road. Like you might be the only one that's like, no, I believe in this thing. I believe in its potential. I've tried all the other ways, didn't work, right? This could be other people projecting. And you being like, I already know. Also interesting that everybody, like, this is a side profile, side profile, side profile, side profile. Like, nobody is looking straight forward. Oh, excuse me. Except for the Justice card here. And the Queen of Swords is the only one that has their eyes open too. Very interesting. I love how we start with the Six of Wands and we end with the Queen of Swords. And I love how she's even looking at the Seven of Wands. And I know that's just because that's where I placed it, but that's, again, like really, it has this feeling of capitalizing and, what's next. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you for allowing me to read your cards. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.